All right, hi everybody, this is Ms. Fawn. This video is going to cover my pre-algebra quiz review. This is for chapter 2, sections 2.3 and 2.4. So it's going to cover the distribution property and evaluating equations. So let me go ahead and share screen. You all should have gotten your review worksheet. So let's go ahead and get started. See if I can get in tablet mode without knocking over my coffee. Okay, let's see here. All right, so section 1 is asking us to simplify, and they're wanting us to use the distribution property. So this should look fairly familiar. We have 8 times b minus 7. So when you distribute, that becomes 8 times b minus 8 times 7. Okay, so again, we can solve our integers here. So your answer becomes 8b minus, and then 8 times 7 is 56. So your answer is 8b minus 56. Okay, number 2, we have w plus 8 times 15. So again, distribute your 15 in. So 15w plus 8 times 15. And so you have 15w, that's not going to simplify anymore. And then 8 times 15 is 80 plus 40. So I feel like that's 120, but that seems a little high. Yeah, that would be right. Okay. So that is plus 120. Okay. So number 3, we have -4 times x minus 7. So just remember to carry that -4 with you. So -4 times x minus -4 times 7. So in this case, you have -4x minus, and then -4 times 7 is -28. So what you need to know is that this needs to simplify into -4x plus 28, right? Because you're subtracting a negative number. Okay, so number 4 gives us 4 times 2a minus 5b. So this is 4 times 2a minus 4 times 5b. So then you just multiply your integers, and that's as simplified as we can get. So this becomes 8a minus 20b. All right, and then number 5, 3 times n minus 11. So just distribute the 3. And it's 3n minus 3 times 11. So this just becomes 3n minus 33. All right, and then number 6 is 2x minus a -5x. Well, you notice here that you have like terms. You have just the variable x with no exponents. So these guys can actually be added together. So we know that 2x minus a -5x can be simplified to 2x plus 5x. And then you just add your coefficients, 2 and 5. Because we're adding, not multiplying, then we end up with an x, not an x squared. And then 2 plus 5 is 7. So your answer is 7x. Okay. Hopefully that's clear for everyone. Okay, so the second part of this is asking you to use the distributive property to find the value of each variable or fill in the blank if you have a blank there. So for number 7, what they've done is they have 5 times 9 plus 13 equals 5m plus 513. So what you're asked to do is to tell what the value of n is. So when you write that, you always write your variable equals and then its value. Well, this is the case. We can see that we have distributed 5 times 9 plus 5 times 13. So m must equal 9. Okay, and then number 8, we have x times 21 minus 16 equals 3 times 21 minus 3 times 16. So in this case, you can see that you have a value for your variable x being distributed into your 21 and your 16. So in this case, x equals 3. All right, and number 9, y plus 18 times 5. And then in your distributed section, you have 10 times 5 and 18 times 5. So you have your 5 being distributed in to what was previously parentheses. And then you see that you have your 18 accounted for. So y must equal 10. Process of elimination helps if it looks confusing. Okay, so number 10 says 9a plus 6b times negative 7 equals 9a, fill in the blank, times what plus 6b times what? Well, we can see here that we have distributed our negative 7 to multiply it by 9a and 6b. So in this case, it's negative 7 that would go in the blank for both of those. And I'm doing these problems in this way again because it gives you an idea of what the expectation is when you do your quiz. Because some of the instructions I feel like can be a little bit ambiguous. So I want you guys to have practice seeing how to respond to these particular instructions. So if you have 2 blanks, you should have 2 answers, regardless of whether they're the same integer, same value. Okay, so for number 11, we have 10 times a plus b equals 10 times 5 plus 10 times negative 3. So what this is telling us is that a must be 5 and b must be negative 3. I don't know if I can write super small with this pen. I'm just going to do it like this. Okay. So number 12. Again, we have 7 times negative 6 plus w. Well, in this case, hopefully you are good with your multiplication tables at this point. So you know that 7 times negative 6 is negative 42. Therefore, 7 times w must be 7 times negative 9. So w equals negative 9. Okay, and number 13 says that a times b plus c equals 2 times 9 and what times negative 4. Now in this case, you're filling in the blank. So you can see that your blank is 2. You could also put that a equals 2. And in this case, I would also go ahead and put in the value for all of them because you know what the value for b is. This is sort of a multi question here. You have a, let's redo this a little bit. A equals 2. What does b equal? Hopefully you see that b is 9 and c is negative 4. So b equals 9 and c equals negative 4. Okay, so for number 14, we have y plus z times x equals 3 times x plus 14 times 15. So in this case, you're solving for both x, y, and z. Well, we know that because x is being distributed, so this is x times y, and this is x times z, that for x, we know that x equals 15, because that would be the second value there. Oops, excuse me. So x equals 15. That first part of the problem here, this 3x tells us that y equals 3. And so by process of elimination, z equals 14. Okay. So in part 3, we are working on evaluating our equations. So for 15, we're given p divided by 2 when p has a value of 36. So p over 2 equals 36 over 2, which equals 18. So p equals, well, they told us what p equals, I'm sorry. The answer, the solution to the equation is 18. Okay, so for number 16, we have w plus 63 if w equals negative 87. In this case, we know that we are adding unlike signs, so we find the difference. 87 take away 63 gives us 24. And we know that it's a negative 24 because our larger absolute value is a negative. So your answer here is negative 24. Okay, 17, we have negative 2x divided by 6 when x equals negative 21. So this is negative 2 times negative 21 divided by 6. So just go ahead and simplify our numerator. Negative times a negative is a positive. And so a negative 21 times a negative 2 gives us a positive 42. And then 42 divided by 6 is 7. Okay. Number 18, now we have two variables. So we have 2x plus 3y when x equals 10 and y equals negative 4. I'm not sure I gave myself enough room here. Let's see how I do. So 2x plus 3y equals 2 times 10 plus 3 times negative 4. All right, so then just go ahead and solve your multiplication, order of operations here. That gives you 2 times 10 is 20. 3 times negative 4 is a negative 12. But we know that is the same thing, the definition of subtraction here. It's the same thing as 20 minus 12, which equals 8. So number 18 is 8. All right, and number 19, we also have an x and a y. So 4x plus 8y divided by x squared equals 4 times 5 plus 8 times 10 divided by 5 squared. Okay, so we can simplify that. 4 times 5 is 20. 8 times 10 is 80. And 5 squared is 25. So again, let's simplify our numerator. 20 plus 80 is 100. Divided by 25 equals 4. Okay. So the last one for this section, we have a squared plus 3a minus a when a equals 12. So a squared plus 3a minus a equals 12 squared plus 3 times 12 minus 12. All right, so 12 times 12 is 144. 3 times 12 is 36, and then minus 12. So then you just move from left to right. 144 plus 36 is, let's see, that's 10, carry your 1, 180 minus 12, which equals 168, I believe. Okay. Now, I've given you a lot of these because something like this is going to be very similar on your test. So when we started section 2.3, you needed to start looking at how to multiply numbers in a way that allowed you to do it mentally. So what I'm asking you to do is show the steps that you would do mentally to calculate these multiplication problems. So again, we use the distribution property mentally to multiply easier numbers and then add them together so you can do it quickly. Okay, so in this case, 5 times 38, mentally what you would do is you would multiply 5 times 30, which is really just 5 times 3, throw a 0 on the end, right? So 150. But then you also are adding 5 times 8. So again, the foundation that you need to be able to do this properly is to have memorized your multiplication tables up to at least 12. And so if you have not, or if you have trouble with your multiplication, then you need to get some flashcards or make some with note cards and start practicing your multiplication tables in order to rememorize those, because you do need that in your head. Okay, so then you just solve these. So 5 times 30 is 150, and then 5 times 8 is 40. So again, you already have that 0 on the end. So you're really just doing 15 plus 4, which you know is 19. So your answer is 190. So that's what I'm asking for you to show me on these problems. What are the steps that you do mentally, which is essentially the distribution property. So 3 times 93, this is 3 times 90, which we know 3 times 9 is 270, throw a 0, or it's 27, throw a 0 on the end of it, it's 270. And then 3 times 3. So then you have figured out 270 plus 9, well, that's just 279, done. Okay, 8 times 45, 8 times 40 plus 8 times 5. And again, you know that this is 320, because 8 times 4 is 32, have a 0 on the end. And then plus 40, easy enough, 20 plus 40 is 60. So your answer is 360. All right, 9 times 42, this is 9 times 40 plus 9 times 2. Gets a little trickier when that second part of the number is a double digit, but that's okay, y'all can do it. 9 times 4 is 36, have a 0 on the end. 9 times 2 is 18. So 360 plus 18 is 378. And then the last one, 7 times 20 is 21. 7 times 20 plus 7 times 1. 7 times 20 is 140, plus 7 gives us 147. Easy enough. All right, so that is your review. This should be a good indication of everything that you're going to see on your quiz, but also it's just a good review of all the major concepts from these two sections. So as always, once you've gone through this review, keep it, put it somewhere safe. This is going to be a great reference when it's time to prepare for the test. And that is it. So good luck, you guys. Once you feel comfortable with this, go ahead and move on to your quiz, and then put it somewhere safe in your binder or notebook or the folder that I sent home, and make sure it comes back with you next week. I look forward to seeing you guys. Good luck.